Hello guys, welcome back to the weekly update. First and foremost, Merry Christmas to everybody out there, or happy festive season if you don't celebrate Christmas especially. Now, it has been that festive period, so I hope everybody's been out making a bit of money or enjoying that time with family. Either way, just enjoy the period. Now, first and foremost, let's just talk about what's going on at the moment. So not a whole lot going on, especially around this type of year, but there were a few things that I wanted to touch up on. And the first thing again is the pricing. Drivers have been messaging me on TikTok asking me like what is going on with Uber's pricing, and to be honest with you, I don't really know what's going on with their pricing. What I do know is that they are just taking more and more as much as they can, or making the prices really low so that it's attractive for the people using the service, but for the drivers, we're not really getting that much money. So what I always say to drivers is, if you are not happy with the price offered on the screen, do not accept the job, because later down the line, when you try and fight with Uber and get more money, they are just going to say no. Now, first thing I wanted to just quickly talk about is an article that I saw, which is there is limited insurance options at the moment for Uber drivers, and that is because essentially what it is that Uber are now working with a selection of insurance providers, and a lot of the issue that drivers have are those providers that Uber are working with. The prices that they are getting are quite high, especially I suppose if you are a new driver who is starting out. You might want to shop around a little bit more to find a cheaper price. But what essentially is going on here is that drivers are restricted to only 8 TfL approved insurance providers, causing premiums to rise. And that was an article which I found out on the Taxi Point website. It also states that Uber states that the restriction ensures compliance and streamlines the verification process. From January 2022, drivers in London must select insurance from a specific list of providers integrated with Uber's Instant Doc system. So it really seems that Uber are really trying to monopolize this whole industry, even now working with the insurance providers and essentially only allowing drivers to sign up with just a few. One that was very interesting for me though, which I saw just recently, is the concerns over Uber's multi-drop fare policy. So as we know, when Uber give you a drop, for example, and then you get a rider that comes into the vehicle, and then all of a sudden that rider then wants to book to go somewhere else, for those extra stops, you are literally getting pennies, and it's just not worth it. So it's always better just to do one ride at a time. And if, let's say, for example, that rider wanted to go somewhere else, it would be more financially better for you, the driver, just to end that journey and get them to rebook it again. So GMB have now raised concerns over Uber's multi-stop fare pricing policies. Again, we are getting a little bit of push here from the unions to try and stop these practices from Uber. So again, like I keep bringing it back to, when it comes to pricing, guys, just make sure that you are happy with it. I had somebody actually inbox me on TikTok where they had done a job from somewhere in London up to Nottingham. They had been offered about £101, but then Uber only gave them £95 at the end of it. Now, what I urge drivers to do in that situation is obviously to contact Uber, but unfortunately in his circumstances, they were not able to give him any more. Now, this could be because sometimes when you take a journey and if you take a more efficient route or it's quicker, Uber can actually pay you less. It's not fair because it's meant to be a fixed price. And I find that strange because when you go further afield, let's say you have to take a motorway route rather than the local main roads, and then you try and update it with Uber, a lot of the time they just say no. So not quite sure what's going on there, guys, but like I say, if you're not happy with that price that Uber are offering, just don't do the job. And me, typically, I don't really go far because it's just not worth it. And last but not least, guys, let's just quickly talk about New Year's Eve. Now, New Year's Eve is coming up, so we are expecting it to be busy as drivers. But don't hold your breath because, like I say, Uber does not increase fares based on days. They only have what they call peak and off-peak pricing. So I believe New Year's Eve will actually fall on a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Which means technically on a Tuesday, the pricing on Uber is generally quite low. However, what should increase the fares will be the supply and demand. There will just be so many people that will want to be booking a taxi or a private hire vehicle at the end of the night that the prices should go up quite a lot, and hopefully we can all make at least £300 that night. However, don't get your hopes up because we are talking about Uber, and also TfL has also stated that there will be some road closures and delays, so just bear that in mind if you are working in the city. And last but not least, guys, I just wanted to remind everyone again that your tax will be due at the end of Jan. So make sure you do your tax return now. Don't delay it, like I said, because number one, when you do it in advance, you know how much you've got to pay, right? And secondly, you're not stressing out last minute. Guys, that's been the weekly update. Just a quick one from me this week from Private Hire Mike. Guys, be safe out there on the roads and hope everybody has a great new year. I'll see you in 2025. All right, guys. Catch you later.